Another article called Skeptic Goes to the Landmark Forum.
If you haven't done the Landmark Forum or the advanced course, it is two best things that I've ever done. Highly recommend them. Just reviewing this, answering this Illuminati's questions is a cult or weird business. So it is not a cults are what cults are, and Landmark is not a cult at any level whatsoever. Like whether you work there or take their courses, it is not a weird business. I understand how you could think that. It's strange territory to talk about what kind of a being a human being is. We don't generally talk about that in the day to day. We generally talk about, hi, how are you? How you doing? What can I get you? You know, and it's very transactional.
By Tiago Forte read, I walked away from the Landmark Forum with a whole new relationship with my father as my biggest breakthrough. It's been almost a year and a half, and it's only gotten better since then. He's no longer a threat to me, no longer an angry and close minded curmudgeon I have to contain.
Wow. So this person got all this stuff, and it's just so amazing how you can like criticize, and still play this like ominous music over this. I don't really think you mean anything by the ominous music. You're concerned about people, and thank you for at least acknowledging some of the good criticism.
And avoid. He's a friend and partner
What is criticism the right word? Praise. Good praise.
in life. We can tell each other anything, even on topics where we don't agree. I've become a passionate advocate of the work that Landmark is doing. I know of nothing that comes remotely close in its ability to change lives in such a short time. About a dozen of my friends and family have taken it since then. Everyone has come back to thank me for sharing with them one of the most meaningful experiences of their
Yeah, I
lives,
do.
especially the skeptical ones.
Yeah.
Tiago's relationship with his father seems like it's improved a ton, and that's fantastic. Hell, even an article from The Guardian says that though the author thought he'd be brainwashed, he was wrong. It says, Landmark takes you away from life. The 3 days create a bubble of possibility in which we were able to try on new opinions and experiment with fresh behaviors. Again, that's awesome. This is great that these seminars have helped some people, and I'll give credit where it's due. But just as Landmark has had its
It's just immediately to the butts.
share of advocates,
And it's fine. It's fine. Again, I am extremely happy that you did this so that I could make this.
it also has its share of critics.
Now we don't need to like, I mean, they say like, oh, you could have thought it was a cult until now. Now that I'm saying that it is in no way, definition, shape, or form a cult, now you don't have that as like don't have that hold you back from seeing for yourself.
Who claim that it's nothing more than a feel good weekend and
Yeah, nothing to do with feeling good. I love this. People say is it Norman Vincent Peale, Power of Positive Thinking? Excellent book, by the way. And by the way, I didn't read that book until after the forum. This is not positive thinking. This is not feel good. None of that stuff whatsoever.
it's wildly uncomfortable. Other sources have
Yes, yes, it is uncomfortable to, like I said, get that good and evil, bad and wrong, right, true or false is all opinion, a sea of opinions.
said, if, like me, you
And that's just one example. Then, the next example is like the context thing that I did in the other video, or like the vicious circle where something happens and then we make a story about what happened means something and then they become the what happened, the story becomes the what happened. And that's not really accurate. It's what happens in the story, and once we separate those two, I am now free. I don't have to be bound by something somebody said one time in the past and da 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 whatever.
are not in the habit
Not saying anyone is bogged down by that. I'm just saying once you see certain things and they give you more freedom in your life, then it's like, oh, Alex, this is so cool. I don't know.
of sharing highly personal
Discovering
tidbits of your
things about
life
myself.
with 148 strangers for 13 hours a day, 3 days in a row, then let me
Yeah. So yeah, this is how you can.
share with you what that experience feels like. It feels like intergalactic jet lag, or like someone has pumped your head full of a global weather system heavy on the cumulonimbus. Some of the 148 strangers were crying so much they looked as if they'd been boiled.
I don't know. Yeah, I had mostly happy tears. Some people have angry tears because they're getting over, a 20-year grape victim is getting over that, is getting to really put that. in the past in their life and not be haunted by that experience for the rest of their life. So I would make
They had all paid
generally it's happy tears. From my end.
$50 each to spend a glorious
It's $915 before discounts.
summer weekend in a fluorescent lighted basement meeting room
Now it's done from wherever you want on a Zoom call, so it's wherever.
near Madison Square Garden at the Landmark Forum. The forum I attended generated a comedy humane's worth of plot development. A 33-year-old
Yeah, there's no more locations. They sold all the real estate, or at least, 90% of it. I don't know if the worldwide headquarters probably still has a location or, in different areas where they do in-person seminars. What do you call it? It is now just the North America is one division. Europe's another division, I'd imagine. Asian's another division, I'd imagine. Maybe Australia, Africa as well.
old woman called her mother to say that she's gay. A 30-something gentleman called his mother of his illegitimate child.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't want to if you push people into a certain space, it doesn't go away. It just gets pushed into a space. So
And said he wanted to be involved in the life of the child whom he had theretofore so wholly ignored. A 19-year-old woman read a letter she wrote to three men who raped her
yeah, this guy's being responsible for his child.
3 years earlier. What sets all this soul bearing in motion? Here's the setup. During class, there are two 30-minute daytime breaks and a 90-minute one for dinner. Each break brings an assignment. You're not allowed to take notes during class, it's too distracting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is your life. You really want to be dealing with your life. You don't want to be. There's nothing to remember. It's just getting the concept of it, and then taking the action in your life that's going to that you had the insight about. That's all it is.
And the only thing you can consume in the room is water.
Yeah, again, it's done at your house now, but yeah, you don't want to be eating on a Zoom call. That's kind of unpolite.
If you tell Roger, the forum leader, my boss was surly and unpleasant, Roger will say, no, she wasn't surly and unpleasant. What did she say? This is grueling.
Yeah, yeah. You can see how she is surly and unpleasant aren't, I can't touch those things. Those things aren't actually like I can't, there is no surly or unpleasant that I can touch. At least with I said I want a raise and the boss said no, you can't have a raise. They make it seem like it's surly and unpleasant. So yeah, what did she say? I'll read it.
To watch, though it leads to some breakthroughs. The exercise's humiliation axis is highly reminiscent of Antiques Roadshow. Once the conflict has been limbed, the sharer is encouraged, regardless of his antagonistic malfeasance, to forgive or apologize to that antagonist, a fact that is caused by one of my classmates, hilariously, to raise her hand at one point to ask, is the other person ever wrong? Although this writer, Henry Alford, is from the New York Times, said that he resented Roger for the pressure put on him. He believed it did help him months later.
Yeah, I mean, pressure, diamonds are made through pressure. So, I'm not saying that there's pressure there. I'm saying if you look at that unsurly comment, you could say the same thing about pressure. It's really largely a construct and something that we're taking something and then making it mean that that is pressure. When it's just a conversation, we're just asking questions. We're just saying who wants to share, and someone wants to share, and if they're made the example of where a good and a bad never actually accomplished anything, and by giving that hold on it that I'm right and they're wrong up for a second, they can be completely free from it and then do whatever, and then they have their own insight and they'll go take their own action, and whether that's leave that person that they're having this concern with or doing whatever, it doesn't even matter. It's up to them. Um, believe it did help him months later. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so yeah, you might not remember it in the moment, but once you sit down, or like you said, months later, years later, people generally will get. And if they don't get it, then please post online because I'm gonna respond back to you, and make sure that you're not that you're. Look, it's very easy to get upset over something. And when someone can really acknowledge you for who you are, um, sometimes that's all it takes. Oh, yeah, like yeah, I wasn't thinking this, like this isn't meant to be a pleasant conversation, you know what I mean? This is for you to get your life. So, um that's did we go over that in this one? No, last video about the scatological language and the harshness and the crudeness and um it's never intended to be anything more than uh I forgot what I was thinking about, but the breaking open and it turns out that it is not demeaning to that person that it is happening to, and actually it enhances their um like effectiveness. It enhances their whole life.
Another writer from the Time magazine also attended a landmark forum led by Roger Smith. I'm not 100% sure if his name is Roger, though, but anyway. He wrote that when I stepped to the mic at Landmark, I thought I could start by offering a mild testimonial. So I said blandly that even as a freelancer, I still felt unable to make enough time for my kids. Smith immediately gutted even that disclosure. There's no such thing as being torn between work and family, he said. Smith is not a trained.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this is, it's not really meant that I go to the forum and then say the lines that people were talking about. There was this, well, he's talking about himself, so it's different. Um, oh wow, that's a really fine line. I guess you can do that. Um, you turn between work and family. He said Smith is not a trained therapist. Yeah, he's not. There's no therapy involved. There's therapists that work in the trainer body, but there's no therapy involved in the landmark forum.
Therapist. Landmark has been criticized for delving into the traumas of largely unscreened participants without having mental health professionals on hand. But I found him to be remarkably insightful. He saw through my timid testimony and got right to the truth. If I can't handle being a full time parent, it's probably because I don't want to. I couldn't argue with him.
Wow. See, that's just ruthless compassion. That's just being straight. That's this guy said that he raised his hand and said he wanted something for his work family relationship and um and made the difference was made right there in that instant. It didn't even take the 5 days. Obviously there's way more stuff, but
Not because he had a clever script, but because he was right.
and right is, like I said, that good right wrong thing. So it's not the best wording there. Not to criticize you, I'm not saying that, but as far as Landmark would be concerned, it'd be effective, workable, something like that. It wouldn't be right, so to speak. Like the Landmark Forum isn't good. It isn't the right thing to do. Um, like you find out right away that good, bad, right, wrong is all sea of opinions. So it's like, how can
This
we
writer
right?
didn't continue with Landmark after the seminar, but he says he did benefit from having a mirror placed in front of him like that and being told a brutal truth. With the New York Times as well as Time magazine both falling into this gray area, it made me feel a bit
I don't know, it doesn't sound like gray area at all. It sounds like the first guy saw a difference in his life a few months afterwards, and it sounds like the other author or writer liked the idea of the mirror being put up against you and you getting a brutal truth. So it's not uncertain at all.
uncertain. I haven't really seen any cult like behaviors, but at the same time, not having mental health professionals on hand is a bit questionable.
Because it's not psychology, it's not therapy, it's not it's even philosophy, it's not religious, it's not theology, it's none of that. So you don't need to have a health professional on it. And there are psychiatrists in the leader body. There are um, artists in the leader body. Uh, body. Should know the trainers are virtually all people with professional backgrounds. They're either people with long experience as managers or executives, people who are fine artists, people who are psychologists. There are psychiatrists in the trainer body. There are physicians in the trainer body. There's, I don't know, like that, lawyers, so that people who are already highly trained in the sense in which society considers people highly trained. So these are the only people that are doing the training, and people that have gone through, does it say the length? Uh, takes on average 2.5 years to 3 years to be that trainer person, so they of not ordinary days, and train them to be trainers in addition to their professional background. Ordinary really trainers worth, it's a program of immersion. It's like a 5-year program, maybe longer, but at any rate,
So,
might as well go over this now. So it's so I'm going to give you an answer of what happens in the training in 2 minutes. It takes people 60 hours to get. Uh, give people we've been that been through the training, but I'm going to break it out for you. So the first part of the training is designed to let people see some of the things which they think are true, they only believe to be true, and that there's a distinction between what you believe and what's true. And they might even coincide, but they're still distinct. It's also the first half of the day is designed to give people an opportunity to recognize that they've got lots of pretenses in their life. I mean, they are pretending a lot. They're kind of pretending, for instance, that their marriage works, or they're pretending that they want to do the work they do, or they're pretending that their life works, to say it in general terms. And perhaps the truth is that it doesn't. So let me say the kind of thing that makes us through the first day. I'm trying to go through quickly. The second is two parts of the second day. And the first part of the second day is that people learn that there's a distinction between concepts about living and the experience of living. And they discover that they have not been experiencing life, they've been conceptualizing life. They, for instance, begin to observe for themselves that the idea that I love my wife is different than the experience of I love my wife. Experience of my I love my wife. And for for the most part, I live with the idea that I love my wife, and very frequently do I ever have the experience, infrequently, I'm not sure. Do I ever have the experience that I love my wife? I guess if you haven't done the forum, maybe that's true for you. But for me, it is very frequently I have the experience I love. Well, I don't know. Certainly more often I have the experience that I love my wife. Um, an experience I love my wife as a hell of a lot different outcomes than the idea I love my wife. If you could see that distinction there. Can you see something? Okay, then we went over this. We went over the rest of this and another part of it, at least in another video.
we've seen reviews that love them and reviews that are mixed.
Yeah, I don't know. Reviews that are mixed seem to, well, there you go. People love it, and then people have mixed. I mean, that means that they see the benefit of it, and um, yeah, the benefits that they received all happened after it. So yeah, and then there's a lot of like anonymous people.
But what about those that hate them? A
Okay,
few snippets from the Cult Education Institute have far more negative things to say about Landmark and saw the entire experience from a different light.
yeah, we went over this in a bunch of other videos. Rick Allen Ross, who is, I believe, yeah, that's definitely him. He has not done the forum. He doesn't want to sign the paperwork. Um, at some point, I might get to a paperwork breakdown, but there's no rights being signed away as Rick is afraid of it. And if Rick's mission in life is to truly educate people about cults, then he would greatly benefit from doing the forum and then being able to like take the kind of actions that he really wants to take with real cults. Um,
Right. Here's a few highlights. A friend signed me up for the landmark forum.
yeah, again, this could all be anonymous and yeah, anyway.
She said it changed her life. I attended last Friday and walked out at
Oh, yeah, sorry. So, um, she attended the forum. She said it changed her life, and then this other person was invited, and she went and she walked out. Um, and that's like, I mean, there's nowhere to walk into anymore because it's done on Zoom call. But um, this person went through 5 days, and you're gonna walk out after um the first day and not like share what you're going through. It's just it doesn't like I can't tell you you're gonna get what you want if you leave early. You know what I mean?
second
And I've had friends that left early, that left on Sunday night and didn't go back. And I'm like, oh, why didn't you just stay for the rest of Sunday night and go back on Tuesday and go to the 10 session seminar series? And it turns out that she went back with her husband and I don't know if her husband did it separately or whatever, but she then finished the whole thing and then did the advanced course. So it's or maybe she hasn't done it. I don't know. No, she is not. She's not. But the point is that she went back when it worked for her to go back to finish it.
break after 5 hours. I was appalled at their tactics. I am still in disbelief that others didn't see through the
Yeah, it's just so wild. Like you say that you walk out, their tactics. I can't believe people don't see through their smoke screen. This is all exactly what that is. The um my boss is surly or whatever, unpleasant. It's just all assigning a meaning that is your opinion on something that happened. And if you really want to tell us what happened, then please tell us what happened. I keep commenting back to all these people being like, oh, yeah, so there was abuse and manipulation. Great. So you must have a he said, she said account. Please provide the he said, she said account. And then they either don't respond or whatever. Yeah, they mostly don't respond.
their smokescreen and leave as well. They said we couldn't take notes and then scolded some of the participants publicly who
Yeah, again, the note taking is distracting. And if you want what you want out of life and being happier and more free, and if you took notes, you wouldn't get that, then, you could see why they're asking you to not be taking notes. And, there's a lot of plagiarism that happens too. Scolded, again, another way to take something. It's like, hey, if I asked you to do that, you paid to be here. You said you would follow all the instructions. You said you wouldn't take your notes out, and then now here you are taking notes. That's not scolding. That's, hey, we agreed, and now you're breaking your agreement. So with all due respect, you know what I mean?
were. Then the leader said if you don't follow the ground rules, you must have a personal issue with authority. An amazing manipulative argument, making someone else the problem.
No, it's yeah, so it's you get more authority over your life. You have more autonomy over your life. If you would follow the rules that you agreed to. Because they go over all the rules and they're like, does everybody agree? Does anybody not agree? You know what I mean? And anyone that doesn't agree is welcome to leave. There is no um force.
Keeping you from logically
I mean, I understand how you could be thinking this, but the deal is like ultimately, yeah, no, we agreed. It's not you agreed, and now you're breaking your agreement. You want to tell me that that's a problem? Ludicrous tactic of manipulation? No. I mean, it's just missing the context of, hey, we had already agreed to this. If you'd known that they had already agreed, and that's the reason why you were quote unquote scolded for taking out your notes when you agreed not to take notes.
Doubting their ludicrous tactics.
Yeah, no, it's not ludicrous at all. Everything is specific and intentional and structured in a good way.
What type of education
Again, it's not good because it's my opinion of it, but I'm saying an effective way um, to make it work for everybody.
seminar forbids you from taking notes? These people are
Yeah, again, if you're in your notebook, it could be people just doodling, and we're talking about people's lives here. We're talking about people that were victim of things. We're talking about people that have went through abuse. We're talking about all of these things, and if you're just sitting there doodling and not being in the conversation with the trainer and the participant that went through the abuse, then you are not really doing the course. You are doing your own thing.
masters of control. I saw it early on. They were humiliating people at the microphone as well, shortly before the second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that happened at the beginning of the video, so I could say that like all this stuff is like, well, manipulating people at the microphone. It's like, okay, that's the person was not left demeaned at all, and they were left enhanced. And they raised their hand and said, I would like to deal with this because I have a real problem with this relationship in my life, and can you help me with this? And so that's not humiliating or anyway.
Right. Besides that, there was no water in the room. The leader lost her cool.
Yeah, this isn't like a place for you to use company water to have to go to the bathroom to leave the room. It's just like this isn't a company we're going to for refreshments. I went there for personal, I went there for training and development. That's it.
When a participant moved their chair and she publicly lashed her for doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, all the chairs were in a line, and they asked everyone to sit in the chairs that way they were just set up. Um, and Yeah, I mean it's done from Zoom now, so it doesn't happen anymore. But either way, it was meant to be to have that structure there. I mean, you don't want to go into a place and then people are moving things all around and people are hanging upside down. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just making fun of like the structure mattered, and it doesn't even matter anymore because it's all online. So
Doing that and told her to move it back. How odd. The leader also rudely scolded one of her staff members in front of everyone.
yeah, again, you could think that was really scolding, but guaranteed if you had that staff member on for an interview, they would be like, "Oh my gosh, no, no." They were just being straight, and I got what I needed to go get for them. Whatever.
He said, "Watch the door because someone just left." Then, all of a sudden, she got that sweet smile on her face. She must have caught herself. A little too late since we all noticed she had a facade.
Yeah, no facade. It sounds like someone left the room and she's said the staff member to go get the. I don't know exactly know what happened, but yep, no facade. The smirk wasn't it's the smile wasn't a smirk. That's a devious thing or nothing.
The second testimony reads, as a survivor.
And again, this guy that's collecting all of these things hasn't even done this. He's just taking a bunch of people and what they have to say, whether they might be anonymous or from a competitor or whatever, and posting it on his website.
Survivor of the destructive EST and forum, I applaud you for showing the world what a horrible.
Yeah, it's not destructive or any of that. I applaud you for showing the world. This is part of their coordinated campaign. You have people say that they were abused because of the course when really they're going there to get over their abuse. Then you have people that respond back or that also comment separately that "Oh, thank you for sharing this with the world. It's so important. More people should speak up about it." It's all part of their coordination.
And deceptive bunch of creeps these
You didn't even say whether you did the form or not. You're just commenting.
people are. I'm going to post
Yeah,
my
not creeps at all.
story about.
Earth Day was created because of the forum, or after the forum, excuse me. I'm not saying because of it. Um, the Good Friday Agreement after the forum, all this stuff. All right, we shall continue. Hope you're having the best day ever. Bye bye.